Hey everybody, today we are talking about Before Your Memory Fades by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. If you are familiar at all with Before the Coffee Gets Cold, then you probably already know that this is the third book in the series. I believe there is a fourth one out there that hasn't been translated yet, so I think it's safe to call it a series. And if you haven't heard about this, then you probably want to watch my other two videos of the first and second book before you watch this one about this book. Or better yet, go read those two other books if you haven't, because I am going to say some things about this book that ties in with the previous books. So there's a potential chance that I'm going to spoil something from the other books in this video. So you've probably already read those books if you're reading or watching this video about this one now. But just in case, just be aware that it might have some minor spoilers from the previous books in here. But for this one, I'll try not to spoil anything for this one if you haven't read this one yet. Most of my reviews are usually very minor on the spoilers, so I'll keep it the same for this one. So just like the other two books, this one is split into 4 stories. The first one is the daughter, then we have the comedian, the sister, and the young man. The first one is about the daughter, and she wants to go back in time to speak with her parents who are now deceased. The second one, the comedian, is a story about a comedian wanting to go back in time to speak with his deceased wife. The third one, the sister, is about a sister who is in denial of her sibling who has recently passed away. She does not want to accept that, and she's really upset about it. And this one kind of has a twist because she's actually not the one that goes back in time for this. So I'll leave that up to you to find out who actually does the traveling in this one. And then the last one, the young man, this one is interesting because the young man is actually a character in this book throughout it, and it's just one of the people at the cafe who is in charge of just going to school but also working at the cafe to earn money because he wants to also become a comedian, just a coincidence there, and he wants to go to Tokyo to be able to make it big, because this story is not set in Tokyo, and he wants to do that, but then he finds out some information about his friend that makes him wonder if it's actually the right choice to do that. And so because of that, because of the timing, he's not able to talk to his friend because the friend's already out of town, and then he was going to go to Tokyo, and then he didn't know the next time he'd get to speak with this friend, and so he decided that he was going to travel in time to make sure that he was able to talk to this person, just in case. He just did not want to leave it up to fate that he might not see this person again if he leaves Tokyo, and wanted to make sure that everything that he was deciding to do was the right choice. So those are the 4 ones in here. They follow similar themes. Pretty much all of them are related to each other in a way in their theme, but they themselves, the characters themselves, aren't necessarily related, except to the cafe owner. The cafe owner of this cafe is actually the mother of some of the cafe owner in the other books. So let's explain that. In the other 2 books, we are in Tokyo in a cafe over there that has the rumor of being able to travel you into the past or possibly into the future. But it's most known for traveling into the past. So the very beginning of this story, we learn that we are actually at a different cafe in a different area of Japan. And the original 2 books, we have our cafe that can travel, that has the rumor of being able to travel in time. That is in Tokyo Cafe. But the cafe that is in this book is actually called Cafe Donna Donna, and it also can do the same thing. So it's very interesting. We find out that there's another cafe that can do this, but a lot of the reasoning behind that is because of the people who run it are related to the people who run the one in Tokyo. And the only way that you can travel back in time is if a specific woman at the age of 7 or older is the one pouring the coffee when you are ready to go wherever your destination that you want to go to. And if somebody else tries to do it, it doesn't work. So it would make sense, since this other cafe has members of the same family, they would be able to do that. So this whole 4 stories, we are technically at a different cafe. But the book really plays out pretty much the same as all the others in terms of having 4 separate stories, having similar characters that are in this book as well as the other books. So you still have Kazu, who is the woman that is in all 3 of the books, but the last book, the second book, she found out that she was pregnant, which meant she was no longer going to be able to pour the coffee. That's just like what happens when the women of that family get pregnant. So she knew she wasn't going to be able to be pouring coffee anymore. So once her daughter was born, her daughter, this is set like 7 years later, at least 8 years at least, because the daughter has now reached the age of 7 and she's able to start pouring the coffee now. So it's just going down the bloodline pretty much. And so yeah, so that's how it works, and that's how they're able to do it in 2 separate cafes, because the first cafe owner is Nagare, probably saying that wrong, but his mom is the one that owns Cafe Donna Donna, and this is our new one from this book. And she decides that she's gonna go help some people in America, like some boy help this boy to find his dad that is like missing. So she just feels like it's her need, she has to help people. So she goes to America and just leaves the cafe basically alone. So she needed her family members to come take over for the cafe for her. So Nagare took Kazu and Kazu's daughter with him to go take care of that cafe, while the other cafe in Tokyo is still being taken care of by Nagare's daughter. And his daughter is like 15 now, and so she is more than capable of being able to pour the coffee for anyone that goes to that cafe, because she's the one that has the bloodline stuff that makes it work. And so that's how we have 2 cafes. So yeah, that was a unique, different part of the book. The rest of the book is, again, very much similar to the other 2. A lot of repetition. Again, like each story is probably going to remind us about at least one of the rules. It's going to spell out a lot of stuff for you. Like, it's not going to leave a lot of room for you to like have to interpret things. It pretty much tells you everything. The only thing that it really doesn't explain much is the gentleman that's in the chair in the Cafe Donna Donna. They're the one that they have to sit in order to travel in time, is accompanied most of the day by a gentleman. And we, unless I missed something, we don't find out any details about this gentleman. We did get to find out more about the woman in white from the other cafe. That was revealed more to us in the other books, in the second book. But we don't know anything about this gentleman. So maybe the 4th one's gonna tell us a little bit more about that. If you've read these and you know how the repetition is and stuff, just expect it in this book as well. It's not so bad as the first. I feel like the first one was the one that repeated things the most, but it still is going to spell quite a few things out for you and let you know exactly how the characters are feeling. And again, who's to say that that's not more about the way it's been translated versus how the original text was, or if that is how the original text was and it's just meant to be very simple and plain and easy to read. But that's not always a bad thing. I actually love how simple and easy it is to read this, because I am such a slow reader. It takes me weeks sometimes to finish one book. This took me like 2 days, because it's just laid out in such a nice way for you to be able to read it in a short amount of time and feel pretty fulfilled at the end and be like, okay, yeah, that was a nice little thing that I read. And you know, I definitely think it's worth it. It's one of my favorite little series that I've been reading, and I always, like, I just got so excited when I saw this one was finally in stores and translated, and now it's just another waiting game for the 4th one, because for sure there's another one out there. I've seen it on Goodreads in Japanese, so we just gotta wait for it to come to stores here, and maybe it'll take another year, because I think this one took like a year from Tales of the Cafe, so we'll see if it takes the same amount of time. But anyway, if you enjoyed this one, if you like this series, then let me know your thoughts. And thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.